Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a massive conflict that's happening right now, shaping pretty much everything about our future. But this war isn't fought with tanks or planes. It's fought with silicon. It's a battle for the brain of the 21st century.
So, let me ask you a question. What do you think is the most important object in the world? Is it gold? Oil? Well, the answer might actually surprise you. It's something you probably have in your pocket this very second, and it's at the absolute center of a new kind of global power struggle.
That's right. We're talking about the microchip. This tiny, tiny piece of tech has become the new battlefield. And the fight to control how it's made, that is a fight for the future itself.
Okay, so let's really get into this. To understand why this is such a big deal, you have to realize this isn't just about making our phones or laptops a little bit faster. No, this is all about who is going to build, control, and totally dominate the coming age of artificial intelligence. You know, every single smart device, from the assistant on your phone to self-driving cars to the most powerful military supercomputers, they all rely on a microchip to think. The chip is its brain. So it follows that the nation with the most advanced brains, the most powerful chips, is going to be the one that leads the AI revolution.
So, how in the world do you build one of these technological brains? Well, it's a pretty wild journey that starts with one of the most common things on the entire planet and a really simple idea about electricity.
To get how chips work, you really only need to know about two basic kinds of materials. First, you've got conductors, like metal. They let electricity flow through them easily. And then you've got insulators, like plastic or wood, that stop it dead in its tracks. It's basically an on and an off.
But here's where the magic happens. There's a third type of material, a semiconductor. And just like the name says, it can be told when to act like a conductor, letting the electricity pass, and when to act like an insulator and block it. It's a switch that we can program.
And the most important semiconductor in the world is silicon. It's just the perfect material for the job, and it's a foundation for pretty much every electronic device we use. But the most amazing part? It all starts with something as simple as sand.
We take that silicon and we use it to build billions upon billions of microscopic on and off switches. They're called transistors. These things are the basic building blocks inside every chip. You can almost think of each one as a single, tiny brain cell. And the number of these little brain cells that we can pack onto a chip is just mind-boggling. I mean, we've gone from talking about billions to, well, just look at this, nearly 3 trillion transistors, trillions of switches all working together in a space smaller than your thumbnail. It's insane.
So, how is that even possible? How can you cram trillions of anything into such a tiny space? Well, it means we have to build things on a scale that is almost impossibly small, a scale so tiny it basically pushes up against the laws of physics. This is the absolute central puzzle of modern manufacturing. And the answer? Well, it doesn't come from regular tools. It comes from a field of technology that lets us play with the very atoms that make up our world. We're talking about nanotechnology, the science of building things at the atomic and molecular level. I mean, we're not just talking small here. We are talking about a scale where we can literally arrange individual atoms to create these incredibly complex structures. And just to give you some perspective, a nanometer is 1/1000th of a meter. Your fingernail grows about 1 nanometer every single second. That's the almost unimaginable scale that we're dealing with. So, okay, how do you build something at that unbelievable scale? It turns out you need one specific machine. A machine so unbelievably complex that only one company on the planet can make it. And that turns it into the ultimate geopolitical choke point. You just can't build these super advanced chips with normal tools. You need a machine that is, and this is no exaggeration, one of the most sophisticated inventions in all of human history. It's the result of decades of research from all around the world.
It's called an EUV lithography machine. The simple way to think about it is that it uses a super powerful, highly controlled form of light to basically print the crazy intricate patterns of the transistors onto the silicon. It's like a hyper-advanced projector and printer all rolled into one. And this, right here, is the absolute core of the conflict. The United States and its allies control this essential technology. So by banning the sale of these machines to China, they've basically put up a technological blockade, cutting China off from the tools it needs to build the world's most advanced chips.
But this blockade, it didn't end the race. Oh no. Instead, it forced China to respond with one of the most ambitious and expensive technological projects in human history.
A flat-out sprint to build its very own industry from scratch.
So, since it can't buy the most advanced tech, China is now pouring unbelievable amounts of money. We're talking hundreds of billions, maybe even trillions of dollars, into developing its own advanced chip-making capabilities. This is a national mission, a top priority. And as you can see from this timeline, this race is on, and it's urgent. Right now, the US and its allies have the lead, but China's pouring money into R&D, and they've set a public goal: produce their own prototype of this impossible machine by 2028. They're trying to break that technological choke point once and for all.
So when you boil it all down, what's really at stake here isn't just about manufacturing computer parts. This is a head-to-head competition to see which nation is going to write the rules for the next 100 years of technology, and because of that, who will lead the world in artificial intelligence.
So what we've seen here is how tiny little switches, etched on a silicon that comes from sand, have somehow become the central battlefield for global supremacy. And it leaves us with a really critical question to think about. As this race gets more intense, what does a future where one nation holds the keys to the world's technological brain, what does that mean for the rest of us?